Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News, the headlines. The opposition MNT says Zambia has a leadership vacuum as it declares its support for UPND. The Commonwealth implores Zambia to maintain its position as a beacon of peace in the region. President EDGAR LUNGU declares 2 days as non-working days in honor of KK. In international news, 2 ministers sacked in Burkina Faso after deadly jihadist attacks. And in sports, Prince MUMBA'S and Augustine MULENGA'S go in friendly win over city of LUSAKA. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial. Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Abex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka. And now the main news in detail. The Commonwealth has called on Zambia not to lose its position as a beacon of peace within the African continent and beyond. Speaking during the launch of the Coalition of Peaceful Election in Zambia, Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland says the violence cases being recorded in some parts of the country may compromise democracy in Zambia. Ms. Scotland says politicians have a huge responsibility over their supporters, hence the need for them to embrace transparency and tolerance for one another. A few weeks to go towards the August 2021 general elections, the country has seen escalating levels of violence in some parts of the country. This has necessitated the creation of the Coalition for Peaceful Elections in Zambia by a number of stakeholders, which include the Human Rights Commission, the Non-Governmental Organizations Coordinating Council, the Law Association of Zambia, the Media Institute for Southern Africa, the Zambia Police Service, among many others, with the support of the Commonwealth, all coming together with the hope of establishing the root causes of violence and finding lasting solutions. Speaking during the launch held in Lusaka, Zambia Center for Intra-Party Dialogue chairperson Jackson Silavwe says Zambia must be intentional about maintaining its peace as it cuts across political affiliation.
This coalition is Commonwealth supported, but it is Zambian-led and owned. It is a platform for inclusive dialogue to promote peace and national cohesion in our country in the context of the 2021 general elections, and also to assist with building an inclusive platform for post-election dialogue on comprehensive reforms. Zambia needs peace, and that peace must flourish. However, that peace cannot happen in a vacuum. We must intentionally work for it. We must negotiate for it.
And representing the church mother bodies, Father Emmanuel Chikoya says the country has not taken serious steps to ensure that violence is completely dealt with and more needs to be done.
I think there are some outstanding issues. It is because, unfortunately, we are still far from reaching our goal of non-violence in the political arena. This is because there are still outstanding issues that keep on recurring, and we as a country have not seriously taken steps to deal with them once and for all. My colleague was able to outline a number of those issues that we affirm and agree with. We have to work together. We must work together. There's no other option. We need to work together. There is a saying in our local language that one finger cannot crush lives, so you will need to have two. And so this is a very necessary cooperation.
Also adding their contribution to the event, Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland says Zambia needs to strive to maintain its position as a beacon of hope within the continent of Africa and beyond.
It is equally important that political leaders and candidates are encouraged to continue to publicly declare their firm commitment to abiding by the will of the people. The latter point is important, and the reason why the Coalition for Peace Initiative has come together to hold a peace conference where political leaders and candidates publicly reaffirm their commitment to peaceful elections is laudable. The symbolism of leaders converging together.
Elections are a crucial part of any democracy, and the need to do away with anything that threatens the free flow of them indeed needs to be nipped in the bud before it is too late. Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
The opposition movement for national transformation has endorsed the candidature of the UPND president without any conditions. Declaring his decision through the media Thursday, party president Daniel Shimunza says Zambians have suffered enough, needing urgent change of leadership. He says the decision people will make on poll day will decide their fate, hence the need to put their right leadership in place. He says the Patriotic Front government has in the last few years subjected the Zambians to unprecedented suffering, which needs to come to an end with the right leadership in place.
With exactly 42 days to the polls, political alliances are being formed and those already in existence are getting bigger by the day. Thursday has seen the Movement for National Transformation Party endorsing the candidature of United Party for National Development Alliance and its leader, Hakainde Hichilema. MNT President Daniel Shimunza says Zambia has a leadership vacuum which can only be filled by the UPND and its alliance partners.
Speak to the undecided voters, because MNT is not on the ballot, but it doesn't mean that our programs will not continue. We want to speak to all undecided voters who did not know where to go. And we want to call upon you that stand with the Alliance and stand with the Movement for National Transformation so that we can deal with the problems that are grappling our country at the point. We want to speak to the youths and the women of this country together with the church. The church must stand for the masses that are suffering and not the powerful and the corrupt at this particular time. And so as we go in the next 6 weeks, let's work together, the youths of this country, wherever you are hearing us and watching us, and the women of this country. It's time for change and it's time for transformation, and only the UPND and those that mean well for this country can produce that kind of change. And that's why we're joining in this alliance for the sake of the Zambian people and not just become white. The Movement for National Transformation, this day is the beginning of this new alliance together with our colleagues, putting aside our own personal agendas and political differences. We want to put Zambians first that have suffered. I think that what we saw in 1964, 1991, and the consequent other moves that we have seen in this country for political change, 2021 in the next 6 weeks is going to spell exactly the kind of context that we must have a change of government.
Dr. Shimunza has also called on the church to help people make the right decision by offering the moral direction to the flock.
The church in this country to be the prophetic and apostolic voice of the weak. Many times what you've seen, the church in Zambia has been divided by the PFLA government. And what you've seen is that part of the church is standing with the most powerful and the corrupt, rather than stand with the weak people of this country that are crying under the brunt and heat of the economic hardships that the PF has subjected us for the last few years. It is time now for the church to be the conscience and the moral compass of this country, so that Zambia can see the kind of change and transformation that we would like to see. As Movement for National Transformation, we are resolved to remain the voice of transformation.
In attendance was UPND Alliance spokesperson Leslie Chukose, who acknowledged the decision made by MNT.
Is that, thank you so much. You have made the right decision to be on the side of the people and not to be on the side of those that want to make their pockets heavy, those that want to propagate tribalism, hatred, but to be on the part of the Zambian people through the UPND Alliance.
Dr. Daniel Shimunza joins the long list of presidential candidates that have put aside their presidential ambitions, endorsing the candidature of the UPND Alliance leader, Hakainde Hichilema, ahead of the August 12th polls. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Various stakeholders have hailed the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ's decision to suspend PF member Chishimba Kambwili from participating in any electoral activities after breaching the Electoral Code of Conduct. ECZ Chief Electoral Officer Patrick Nshindano says the suspension follows Dr. Kambwili's continued holding of political party rallies as well as his use of hate speech. Speaking to Camnet TV News, United for Better Zambia President Hector Sondo says the ECZ must be commended for working hard to bring sanity to the political playing field. And Operation Young Vote Executive Director Ges Nyirenda says the action by the electoral body sets the tone and trajectory of conducting politics in the country in the 21st century.
Us as United for Better Zambia, we welcome the decision by Electoral Commission of Zambia, because we know that this time we are in a bad situation time where we've seen a lot of people losing their life. So Chishimba Kambwili is one of people that have been suspended when looking at failing to obey what the ECZ has put in place when it comes to rallies and road show. Because we've seen a lot of people that are following Chishimba Kambwili when there are these campaigns. And this should not be just ended by Chishimba Kambwili, but we want it to be an example and let it be extended to other political parties or leaders that will be found wanting. Because
the Democracy and Motherland spokesperson Andrew Ntewewe has challenged the Electoral Commission of Zambia to meet the same fate given to Chishimba Kambwili to other political parties that have publicly disrespected the head of state, who is also a presidential candidate for the August 2012 polls. Mr. Ntewewe has since called on ECZ to do the correct thing and bring to book all those abrogating the Electoral Code of Conduct. He says Zambia will have a free and fair election if the electoral body acts fairly for and against all the political parties taking part in the elections. Meanwhile, Mr. Ntewewe has called on the Electoral Commission to quicken the process of nullifying the nomination of constituencies where some candidates have died in line with the national constitution.
The ECZ not to shy away from meting out equally stiffer punishment on the UPND perpetrated violence. The nation will recall that just a few days ago, we pointed out various electoral malpractices and violence being perpetrated by the UPND across various districts in Zambia. The coalition anxiously await the sanctions to be imposed on UPND by the ECZ in the same manner that the Commission has done on Shimba Kambwili. ECZ must be seen to be impartial and ensure all stakeholders are put in their rightful place so that they can play by the rules of the game. The coalition notes that by the action taken against Mr. Shimba Kambwili, the Commission has placed more pressure on themselves, as Zambians will be expecting them to act with the same vigor and energy on other matters that are still pending. The coalition reminds the Commission that the President of the Republic of Zambia, who is also a candidate in these elections, has endured excessive insults and hate speech from well-known politicians.
Patriotic Front member Shimba Kambwili has charged that he will not apologize to anyone over his alleged tribal remarks. Speaking to the media shortly after a meeting with the Electoral Commission of Zambia, Dr. Kambwili says he has never uttered any hate speech but exposed those that do such. Meanwhile, Dr. Kambwili says his popularity attracts a magnitude of people wherever he goes. Yesterday, the Electoral Commission of Zambia banned Dr. Kambwili from all political activities on account that he was practicing hate speech and holding public rallies against the directive by the Commission.
Former opposition leader and now a member of the Patriotic Front, Shimba Kambwili, says he is a victim and not a person who should be taken on by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Speaking shortly after a meeting with the Commission following his suspension on Wednesday from all political activities on account of him uttering tribal remarks and holding public rallies against a ban by the Commission, Dr. Kambwili says the rally was not intentional.
Cordial meeting with the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Basically, we just came to understand and make an appeal against this suspension or ban that has been imposed by the Electoral Commission of Zambia on me as an individual. As you may be aware, they whoever complained of two things. One was that I held a public rally against the ban by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. On that score, I sincerely apologized to the Commission and promised that this will never happen again. From deep down the bottom of my heart, I sincerely apologized. Because even that rally that we had was not intentional. We were supposed to have an indoor meeting where the officials. But you know,
people
where
just
I go
started coming.
as Shimba Kambwili, people just started coming, and it became overwhelming, such that we couldn't have the meeting in an enclosure. So we decided to address the people outside. Very, very unfortunate, extremely unfortunate, and I've sincerely apologized to the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
Meanwhile, the Patriotic Front member has refused to apologize on the allegations that he has been uttering hate speech, stating that he has been exposing those who do so.
On the other hand, there was a complaint that I was exercising hate speech and tribalism. On that one, I have refused to apologize because I have never uttered hate speech except to expose the tribalism. Who is going to come on the scene, be elected on the basis of their tribe, on the basis of their region, must not be accepted. And for me, that is not hate speech, that is not tribalism. I am actually condemning tribalism and exposing it. So I am the victim in this case. I'm not the person who should be taken on. And my message will not stop.
For now, Dr. Kambwili can only sit behind closed doors in any political campaigns. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The United Party for National Development UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema has encouraged the nation to stand together and remain hopeful of a better tomorrow. He made the remarks Thursday morning when he attended a church service at the Reformed Church of Zambia in Lusaka in honor of the late alliance member and leader of National Democratic Party NDP, Mr. Tentani Mwanza. Mr. Ichilema also urged the family of Mr. Mwanza to remain strong during trying times.
Dear friends, working together in the alliance to try and liberate this country from the quagmire by this. And he's gone just a few days before we're able to achieve that objective, that agenda for the people of Zambia. So we want to strengthen the family, immediate family, the extended family, and indeed the people of Zambia, that we must soldier on to respect, to value what he stood for, what President Mwanza stood for. We need to carry on with the struggle, and we're just about to be there. It's our duty to make sure that the family continues to carry on with his legacy, and I think that's the best way of remembering him. So rest in peace. You know, we are all going there. It's a question of who goes first, but we're all going there. God is the giver of life. Only He takes life. When He takes it, how He takes it, we don't know. We are all dependent on His decisions. But go well, President Mwanza. God bless you all. God bless the family.
Healing Word Ministries overseer Pastor Moses Chuluba has urged people to make things right with God while enjoying good health in order to receive salvation when they die. Speaking during a burial procession of Florence Mlela Mukata, mother to former Deputy Minister Keith Mukata, Pastor Chuluba has reminded men of God and Christians to also lead honest lifestyle in tune with biblical principles. And Pastor Chuluba says he held the late Florence Mlela Mukata in high esteem as she believed in him at a very tender age. Miss Florence was a teacher to Camnet TV chairman Pastor Moses Chuluba.
Whatever you do, just know that we are getting ready for this. Mom was ready. I spoke to her, and she would say to me, you know, teachers are always teachers. She would not call me, oh, pastor. She would just say, Moses, I want you to come home so that we can have some time together. She was a parent. Now you can imagine she knew who her God was. Do you know who your God is? I think I would be failing in my duty from the death of my teacher. I don't make an invitation to somebody there. You may look at me to be crazy. Master of ceremony, please forgive me. I think this is the best gift I can offer to this lady by appealing. Who can make things right with God? It's not pastors only who blow things. As pastors, you just see us from the pulpit straighting, hallelujah, hallelujah. You have no idea his life. But God has everything. Even some of these people called deacons. You find that they are in every place, pretending like they move with God hand in hand. And yet the things they do, God is against that. One day you have an appointment. So being a deacon, being a pastor, even the Pope, it is not a right or guarantee that he has a seat in heaven. The Bible says God is not a respect of persons. If you don't make things right here on earth before you die, after you die, that's it. The Bible says the dead cannot praise the Lord.
In other news, the Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Malama, has revealed that the 72 deaths recorded within the last 24 hours, which brings to a total of 2,271 COVID-19 related deaths. Updating the nation Thursday, Dr. Malama says Zambia has recorded 2,884 new confirmed COVID-19 cases out of 11,145 tests, giving a 26% positivity, which brings to a total of 21,142 active cases. The country has also recorded 2,627 discharges, with 153 from health facilities and 2,474 from those under home management. The Permanent Secretary has urged members of the public to refrain from self-prescription and medication, which the ministry continues to observe.
Continued going through a difficult period under this third wave, still seeing high positivity, admissions to our hospitals, severe disease, and we've continued to lose our people. We remain confident and committed that we'll bring COVID-19 situation under control in the coming weeks, particularly with full participation of all Zambians. Our rate of recovery from both the community and our treatment centers remains encouraging. In the last 24 hours, we had 2,627 discharges, with 153 discharged from our health facilities and 2,474 from those who have been under home management. This brings the cumulative every 24 hours, people being admitted. And during the third wave, these are severely sick patients we are seeing. So that also has a direct effect in terms of monitoring and also the space we've created in our facilities. We remain committed, and we are doing everything in terms of ramping up bed space, intensive care unit space, and also providing extra human resource, essential medicines and supplies, and more importantly, oxygen availability. Even as we are speaking, as a multi-sectoral response, we are expecting 2,000 cylinders of oxygen to arrive in the country today and tomorrow.
Kalabo District Council in Western Province has joined the rest of the district in the country in the fight against COVID-19 by fumigating specific areas. Kalabo Town Council Public Relations Officer Beni Munyama says the council under the Department of Public Health has targeted densely populated areas where COVID-19 is most likely to be breed. Mr. Munyama has therefore called on members of the public in the district to cooperate with the authority in order to help mitigate the spread of the virus within the district.
In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, Kalabo District Council has not been left out in putting up measures to curb the further spread of the disease. Speaking in an interview with Camnet TV News, Kalabo Town Council Public Relations Officer Beni Munyama says the Town Council under the Department of Public Health has targeted densely populated areas where COVID-19 is most likely to spread and is in the process of fumigating them, such as the council offices, Kalabo Day and Boarding School, Naliyonwa Secondary School, Yuka and Kashitu Markets, among many other places. Mr. Munyama has therefore appealed to members of the general public within the district to cooperate with the authority in order to help mitigate the spread of the virus within the district.
Town Council, we have, through the Department of Public Health, conducted fumigation in public places such as markets, schools, and also we are targeting churches and any other public place that also caters or that holds a large population. We are trying, through the Public Health Department also, to sensitize the public on the dangers that come with the COVID-19, and especially this third wave, which we have recorded some cases here in Kalabo. We have swiftly moved in to fumigate Kashitu Market, where I'm standing right now. The market looks deserted because it's just a few hours from now that it was fumigated and the marketeers have not been allowed to return to the market.
Mr. Munyama added that human resources are a vital component of any thriving country, hence the need that people are protected. He has therefore called on the residents of the district to cooperate with the authority in ensuring that the fight against the COVID-19 is won.
Our appeal to the public is to allow us, through the Public Health Department, to conduct this exercise freely and also give us an audience, because this disease is here to stay and we really want the public out there, especially here in Kalabo in particular, to be protected, because these are the people that we need. For development to take place in Kalabo, we need the human resource, and the human resource that we have is the same communities that we are operating in. That's why I want to ensure that the communities are protected and they are given the right information, and through the Public Health Department, we are conducting sensitization exercises on the need for people or the community to follow the golden rules for COVID prevention.
Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News. Vice President Untitled says that Zambia has joined the world in preparing for the United Nations Food System Summit scheduled for September 2021, organized by the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York. In a statement to the media, Mrs. Wina says the summit will offer a game-changing moment for global public mobilization and actionable commitment to invest in diverse ways to make food system inclusive, climate smart, and resilient and support sustainable peace. The Vice President says the summit will serve as a turning point in the world's journey to achieving holistically all the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Mrs. Wina adds that the summit seeks to raise global awareness, deepen the understanding of the problems we must solve, and set a new pathway to radically change the way we produce, process, and consume food for a better world. To underscore the importance of the summit, the Vice President stated that Zambia's preparations include the launch of the UN Food System Dialogue Roadmap held in Chinyama community of Kafue District on 19th May 2021, supported by the various partners and stakeholders, including the United Nations system in Zambia. President Edgar Lungu has declared Friday 2nd July and the 7th of July as non-working days in honor of the late founding father, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. In his address to the nation through the nation broadcaster, President Edgar Lungu says this will give the nation an opportunity to give their beloved father a befitting farewell. He has, however, reminded the nation that the current situation does not allow mass gathering, advising all to follow the proceedings through electronic media. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda died on the 17th of June 2021, and a 21-day of national mourning was said. He will be buried on the 7th of July 2021.
That the state funeral will be held for Dr. Kaunda tomorrow, Friday, the 2nd of July 2021, at the Showgrounds Main Arena in Lusaka. Countrymen and women, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the attendance of the state funeral will be by invitation, while the rest of our citizens may follow the proceedings on national television, ZNBC, and other media that will be available for the purpose. Countrymen and women, in recognition of the indelible impact that our first president made on the region and world at large, we have received the confirmed presence at the highest level of the heads of state and government from the republics of Kenya, Namibia, Mozambique, Ghana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, Malawi, and the Kingdom of Lesotho. Countrymen and women, in honor of President Kaunda, I now declare tomorrow, Friday, 2nd July 2021, a non-working day so that citizens can pay their last respects to this great son of Africa. I also declare Wednesday, 7th July 2021, the day President Kaunda will be put to rest, a non-working day.
The National Museum Board has mounted the Kenneth Kaunda's Life and Legacy exhibition in honor of the late Zambia's first Republican president. Speaking during the official opening of the exhibition in Lusaka, Ministry of Tourism Permanent Secretary Patrick Lungu says one way to mourn Dr. Kaunda is by delving into the rich encyclopedia of knowledge regarding the life and legacy, which all must reflect upon and use to make the country a better place for all humanity. And Federation of Free Trade Union of Zambia President Chingatim Siska said Dr. Kaunda was instrumental in strengthening collaborations between the labor movement and political parties.
As the country continues to mourn the passing on of Zambia's founding father, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, the National Museum Board has mounted the KK's Life and Legacy exhibition in honor of the late Zambia's first Republican president, which opens from 1st to 30th July 2021. Ministry of Tourism Permanent Secretary Patrick Lungu, who graced the official opening, says Dr. Kaunda's passion for art and culture and heritage led to the establishment of institutions that are mandated to preserve and conserve the nation's memory and heritage. Dr. Lungu has since called on the public to find time and visit the National Museum.
Is in mourning, and so is Africa and the world at large. One way to mourn KK is to delve into the rich encyclopedia of knowledge regarding his life and legacy, to reflect upon his life and the impact of his actions on our shared humanity.
A National Museum Board Acting Director, Bevan Sangulume, who was represented by Roy Situmbeko, says Dr. Kaunda recognized that heritage played an important role in national development and the catalyst for promoting peace and unity in delivering the One Zambia, One Nation motto.
Dr. Kaunda recognized that heritage played an important role in national development and was a catalyst for promoting peace and unity in diversity, given Zambia's diverse ethnic groups. One thing that I learned through these encounters is how humble he was as a man, and as a leader, and as a parent. President Kaunda, as we have seen, when he was requested by the National Museum to make a donation, he donated what we have seen, his handkerchief, which is a very significant symbol of unity.
And speaking shortly after signing in the Book of Condolences at the home of the late fallen soldier, Federation of Free Trade Union of Zambia President Chingatim Siska says Dr. Kaunda embarked on the creation of a governance system which was responsive to economic, social and political emancipation of the country.
We went to school in our early 60s, early 70s, free of charge. We are what we are because of what this man did. So we are mourning with the family and the nation as a trade union because we know, the ideals on which he stood for are still real and alive today. So we are, as a country, and the labor movement, like I already stated, that this is a big loss, but all would say is let the soul of the great man rest in eternal peace.
The role that the late President Dr. Kaunda played in liberating Zambia to be what it is today cannot be ignored, hence the need for citizens to find time and dig into the rich history of the late President. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A political analyst, Professor Bizek Piri, has backed calls by other stakeholders for government to set a day in honor of the founding father, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Professor Piri says Dr. Kaunda did a lot of things for Zambia and other countries in the region, hence the need to celebrate him as a nation on a given day every year. The political analyst has clarified that the day may not be a holiday, but a day where citizens will be given an opportunity to celebrate the life of the Zambian founding father. Meanwhile, the professor has also called on all political parties to avoid tribal remarks and promote the One Zambia, One Nation culture to foster unity in the country.
But we can say on this particular day, let's do something that is for the good of the nation, making ourselves available for community service to honor that day. Not as a public holiday, but something that we are doing that reminds us as a nation on what Kaunda did. That way we'll be commemorating Kaunda as a person that formed and built the foundation for this nation, the peace that we're enjoying today. That would be very, very important. So for me, I would certainly support the need to have on our national calendar every year a day that will be specifically designated as a day to commemorate and remember Kaunda. In my view, and my appeal to political leaders is that we should avoid tribal language, demeaning other politicians. In today's Zambia, when one looks at the reality of where we are today, Zambia is truly a united country. In most homes that you are going to go to in Zambia today, you are going to find more than one ethnic group. People have married across ethnic groups. And therefore, it is very sad to hear political leaders talking political language that is divisive. I don't think that is the kind of Zambia that we want.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. For now, we take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this. Stay tuned.
To you, our dear esteemed customers, as ZAMBIA, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 ngwe benefits amounting to over 500%. And it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers ZAMBIA customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. ZAMBIA customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they use when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yatu benefits will be usable for ZAMBIA to ZAMBIA calls, ZAMBIA to ZAMBIA SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yatu offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. ZAMBIA customers will have the ability to actually purchase the Yatu benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. Yatu benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your Yatu benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
LUNGU and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Zambia has embarked on an economic journey for individual financial emancipation, empowering its citizens through land acquisition and developing the nation through agriculture. This time, Zambians are coming together, taking it upon themselves with the help of government to develop this great nation by taking individual responsibility and ownership of this great nation. The economic revolution has started. There are thousands of Zambians with a can-do mindset who are resolute, unstoppable, full of confidence and conviction that Zambia's set time of favor for development is now. Don't be left out. This could be the time you have been waiting for. Camnet Television, in conjunction with the United Agrivision Consultancy Limited, will be hosting a national conference on becoming a millionaire through agriculture. Date 1st October and 2nd October 2021. Charges 750 kwacha per person per day, that includes lunch. A limited number of participants through Zoom have also been reserved. You can also be part of the conference from the comfort of your home by registering online via Zoom, joining the people who were born for greatness. Charges for participation via Zoom are only 300 kwacha per person. Time 0730 hours to 17 hours. Registration and confirmation of attendance will take place on the 29th of September 2021. Time 14 hours to 17 hours. Venue the Healing Word Ministries International, the home of Camnet Television in Apex Hill, Kabulonga Road, Lusaka. Welcome back. We continue with the main news. A Lusaka gospel singer, Dixon Piri, has pleaded not guilty before the Lusaka Magistrate Court for trafficking in over 10 kilograms of methamphetamine. This is in a matter in which Piri, 36, of Kabangwe in Lusaka, stands charged with trafficking in of over 10 kilograms of methamphetamine, an addictive drug which stimulates the central nervous system. The accused, who is well known for his Silver and Gold song, is also accused of unlawful use of Toyota Allion to illegally traffic the psychotropic drug, which had initially been concealed in children's books. The consignment of the drug was reported to have been destined for courier to New Zealand through Kenneth Kaunda International Airport on the 17th of June 2021. And when the matter came up for plea Thursday morning before Magistrate Chinunda Chiwaula, the accused denied committing the same offence. The matter has since been adjourned to 29th July 2021 for commencement of trial. The Lusaka High Court has granted Resident Doctors Association of Zambia President Dr. Brian Sampa leave to apply judicial review against the decision by the Health Professional Council of Zambia to revoke his practicing license. The Lusaka High Court has ordered and directed the stay of said decision by HPCZ of suspending his practicing certificate until the court orders otherwise.
On the 23rd of June 2021, the Resident Doctors Association of Zambia President Dr. Brian Sampa had commenced judicial review proceedings in the Lusaka High Court against the Health Professional Council of Zambia HPCZ decision to suspend his practicing license. His license suspension was due to a go-slow by members of the Resident Doctors Association of unpaid salary arrears for doctors, the dismantling of arrears and gratuity for medical doctors, creation of position for senior resident medical officers, registrars and consultant, and the recruitment of 500 newly graduated medical doctors.
Nothing has been agreed upon as of today. Therefore, our stance still remains as RDZ with the membership that come Monday 24th this month, we are going on go-slow, and during this period, we expect that only emergencies will be attended to.
In his judicial review, Dr. Samba argued that the HPCZ did not follow laid-down procedures for disciplinary cases in line with Section 64(1)(a) and 65 of the Commission, as he was not given an opportunity to be heard before suspending his license. In his submission, he stated that on the 23rd of June 2021, the HPCZ registrar wrote to his lawyers advising them that they were unable to trace him and attached 2 letters dated the 28th and 29th of May 2021 and a notice of suspension purportedly suspending his license. He was then given a day to exculpate himself and show cause why his practicing certificate should not be suspended. He had submitted that the said purported decision of the government to suspend his practicing certificate in the absence of the HPCZ board was illegal, irrational, and procedurally improper. And following his request for leave to be granted to stay the decision by HPCZ until determination of the case, the Lusaka High Court has granted his request. In the ex parte order for leave to issue judicial review proceedings, the High Court has further ordered that the said leave to operate as a stay to HPCZ decision of revoking his practicing certificate pending determination of the matter or until any further direction or order by the court. This means that Dr. Sampa's practicing license has not been suspended. The court has since set an inter-party hearing on the 3rd of August 2021. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Students at the University of Zambia has called on university management to come up with long-term measures to make online education more conducive at the institution. In an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, the students say this is important as it is unknown when the coronavirus will end and online learning may become the trend. Ministry of Higher Education Permanent Secretary Siula Siame on the 30th of June 2021 in a statement announced the closure of universities across the country from the 1st of July to the 31st of July 2021. Management at the University of Zambia has since asked students to begin vacating the campus beginning 1st July 2021.
Since the coronavirus pandemic was first recorded in Zambia in March 2020, physical learning in the country has not been consistent as authorities have been advising online learning to prevent large gatherings. It is more than 1 year since the country, along with other nations across the globe, recorded the coronavirus, and Zambia is currently facing the 3rd wave. Cases have been on the rise during the 3rd wave, and Kayula Siame, who is Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Higher Education, on 30th June 2021 in a statement, announced the dismissal of physical classes for higher learning institutions, stating that classes will continue online until 31st July 2021 due to an increase in coronavirus cases. Students at the University of Zambia, UNZA, have called for government, along with management at other various institutions of higher learning, to come up with a long-term plan to ensure that online learning is made more conducive. They say it is unknown when the coronavirus will end and there is need to make online learning more effective.
I would love to call on government as well as UNZA management to come up with a long-term plan in regards to the affairs of the students as well as many other things that affect students. Looking at the fact that all of the students now will be learning online, so they need to come up with a better solution in terms of the Moodle platform. They should make it more efficient and even more better for students that will be using it to submit their assignments as well as write tests.
UNZA should get some money from the tuitions that we pay, and the management should be buying bundles for students. that can be at least helpful, because bundles are really expensive, especially those people who are having financial problems, yes. And then this thing of e-learning, not all people, not all students have smartphones, so it's really challenging for those who come from far. Even the network is poor.
The students have also called for modalities to be put in place to ensure that even those in far-flung areas with poor or no internet connectivity are not disadvantaged.
Well, another issue is on the issue of internet connectivity. Looking at the fact that students won't be in school and there's a certain amount of money they pay for internet connectivity when they're in school. So UNZA management should come up with a solution on how best they can work with telecommunication companies to better the services or make more cheaper internet bundles for students.
Management at UNZA has since directed its students to begin vacating the campus starting 1st July 2021. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Ministry of General Education Permanent Secretary Dr. Jobix Kalumba has revealed that schools will resume on the 8th of July 2021 for Term 2. In a circular availed to the public and schools in general, the PS says schools will resume for Term 2 and no additional school fees should be charged. He says the adjusted school calendar will be communicated in due time. Dr. Kalumba, however, said that the reopening of schools is dependent on schools' compliance to COVID-19 preventive guidelines and ensure that schools are safe for reopening. Due to the increase in the number of COVID-19 cases and deaths, schools closed on the 17th of June 2021 for 21 days, during which schools are expected to scale up COVID-19 preventive measures to ensure that schools are safe for teaching and learning activities after which they should apply for certification to reopen. The Zambia National Marketers Credit Association has so far registered 40,000 marketeers for best tax. In order to enhance tax coverage through the informal sector, the Zambia Revenue Authority Best Tax and Registration was being spearheaded. Marketeers will be required to pay 1 kwacha daily or 30 kwacha every month towards a special fund. He says the overall program has been hampered by limitation in reaching out to over 30,000 markets in the country.
Taxation in the informal sector has always proved to be a challenge in the country. However, the Zambia Revenue Authority, in partnership with the Zambia National Marketeers Creditors Association, ZANAMACA, has been making frantic efforts to register marketeers for base tax. ZANAMACA President Mopila Kamea tells Camnet News that tax in the informal sector can go a long way in raising resources to fund the national budget and resolving issues affecting traders. He believes the country can minimize borrowing if the informal sector pays a fair share of taxes.
I think the country can be able to generate about 6 million kwacha every day, which actually can cushion some of the challenges that our government has in terms of paying the workers and all that, putting up developments here and there. And we believe that in the next 5-10 years, our country cannot borrow money from anywhere. How are these countries beyond the seas survive? They depend on the tax that they collect. And so similarly, we've been pushing for that agenda so that everyone participates, to pay this, tax, which is quite a very good thing, and sensitize our people. So the task now remains to the ZRA to ensure that everyone begins to pay.
Mr. Kamea, however, says overall the program has been hampered by limitations in reaching out to over 3,000 markets across the country.
I think we registered over 40,000, but what hampered the whole process was that we were not supported much in terms of reaching out, because it involves reaching out, talking to people, reaching out the country. Zambia has over 3,000 markets. For us to be in these markets, it involves moving, so that was the hindrance. But our appeal to government again is to try and see if they can still support this project so that all of us begin to participate in development of this country through paying the best tax, especially the 6 million plus people in the informal sector.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, has charged that the excessive tax burden leveled on artisanal and small-scale mining is hampering its growth in Zambia. CTPD senior researcher Webi Banda says the current mining taxation regime does not differentiate between large and small-scale players, which has led to the overtaxation of the latter. Mr. Banda says the artisanal and small-scale mining can be used as a conduit of inducing poverty reduction in communities hosting mineral resources, as ASM positions itself as a low-hanging fruit to proliferate human development. He has noted that government's long-term objective of formalizing the ASM sector can only come to fruition if it addresses the fiscal challenge of mining taxation, and high taxation tends to reverse and formalization process. Mr. Banda added that the core principle should be centered on casting the net wide and not deep mining instituting a tax regime that has a low AEATR to induce formalization so that the tax base can be widened and government can collect more taxes.
Zambia's mining taxation regime does not differentiate between large-scale and small-scale mining operators. This has arguably led to the overtaxation of the latter. The Center for Trade Policy and Development would like to urge government to craft a sector-specific tax regime that will basically achieve two primary objectives. The first being to induce formalization, that's widening the tax base. Then the second being to institute growth of artisanal small-scale mining operations through a plowback approach.
A financial analyst, Mambo Hamaundu, has implored government to identify key areas of development in rural areas, stating that most of these remain underdeveloped despite having great potential. Mr. Hamaundu says there is need to handle development on a district by district level, as each area has different needs. The financial analyst has cited districts such as Namwala, which is rich in cattle, and Mansa, which is rich in fish, stating that each district needs to be handled according to priority in the area other than looking at development on a national level.
Zambia has a goal of becoming a prosperous middle-income country by 2030 and signed up to Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) in 2015, along with other United Nations UN member countries. A financial analyst, Mambo Hamaundu, says for Zambia to achieve its goal of development, there is need to start looking at development on a district-by-district level. He has charged that many rural areas in Zambia remain underdeveloped despite having great development potential. Mr. Hamaundu has called on government to identify areas of development in each district, stating that it is only then that the country will be able to empower its citizens in various districts and bring development that will be felt on a personal level.
A number of rural areas remain underdeveloped. When we go into Luapula, we know that many places are not developed. You go into Eastern, you go into Southern. The entire country, when you look at the rural areas, they're actually underdeveloped, but many of them have a great potential in terms of development. So I think that it is very important that going forward as a country, I'd actually implore government to probably consider increasing the amount of money that is allocated through the Constituency Development Fund, for instance, so that we can really have decentralized development, because the priority in Luapula might be different from the priority in Southern Province, or the priority in Choma might be different from the priority in Monze.
The financial analyst adds that there is need to decentralize the development process.
For example, when we go into Namwala we know is an area which is predominantly agriculture, but cattle rearing. We need to ensure that resources are allocated for things like deep tanks, for things like abattoirs, so that one can be able to sell their meat within that area. It is processed, and value added within that particular area. And when we go into Mansa, which is probably an area which is strong in fish, they must be able to harvest the fish, process it, and sell it.
He has further called on citizens to take it upon themselves and identify areas of potential development. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The civil society organization Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance CSO-SAN has expressed concern over the presence of GMO seed in the country. Recently, the National Biosafety Authority, during the sampling and testing maize seed at some selected farms and warehouses, discovered GMO maize seed. CSO-SAN Country Director Matthews Muhuru says the maize industry is GMO-free, hence the need for the NBA to put in place the right measures to uphold that. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Muhuru says GMOs must not be encouraged in the agriculture sector. He has since called on the government to protect Zambia's people, their health, environment, and the national economy.
GM seed has the potential to actually kill off, the other fields that do not have, that are not GMO, because they have some predator genes, so that, it's just the GM seed that becomes prominent and is the one that grows. So that's a very dangerous situation, because also Zambia, we don't have laws that allow GM seed to come in at the moment. I know the biosafety authorities are trying to put policies in place to see how they can guard, and protect, and also just monitor activities around research when it comes to seed. But again, when it comes to the GM food as well, there's a lot of debate, because safety issues are still matters that are still being debated. But if the public are subjected, to the GMO foods as well as the GMO seeds, then we are in a very, very dangerous situation, because the safety concerns are still very, very high. So we would like to urge the National Biosafety Authority, as well as also other relevant government departments, to see how they can really tighten their borders and protect, our agricultural system, by ensuring that none of the seeds that might contain GMOs, and especially the ones that they have not really checked whether they're safe or not, being allowed to enter and find their way into other parts of the country.
The University of Zambia urges youth to maximize on aquaculture development opportunities. The University of Zambia has encouraged the young people to venture in fish farming so as to meet the unceasing demand for fish in the country. Speaking in an interview with Camnet TV, UNZA Animal Science Head of Department, Dr. Ozen Chivinga, has stated that aquaculture is gaining popularity in the country. Therefore, it is important that youths consider the fish industry while opportunities are readily available.
According to statistics, Zambia's population is 46 young people between the age of 15 to 24 years. Therefore, this youth bulge constitutes an opportunity to advance in socio-economic development in the country. But at the same time, it represents a challenge if the economy is not capable of providing sufficient job opportunities for young people. During the launch of the 2 cooperative fish harvests in Siavonga recently, the head of state, Dr. EDGAR LUNGU, directed Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock to urgently present to Cabinet a Memorandum of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development Fund. This is one of the initiatives that government and private sector has embarked on to promote the fish farming and other opportunities which the young people can venture in. While unemployment levels are still high, it could be this time for young people to consider venturing into fish farming, as it assures great returns. In exploring the feasibility of the industry to young people, Camnet TV visited the University of Zambia School of Agriculture and interviewed the head of department, Dr. Ozen Chivinga, who shed more light on fish farming.
She's one of the very excellent protein sources in the human diet, and therefore the promotion of production of fish in our country is of outer importance. I need to mention that it's one of the growing industries especially that as a country, Zambia were importing a lot of fish, which shouldn't be the case actually, because if you look at our country, we are having a lot of water bodies which can be used to produce fish. So our encouragement is that let the young people take this challenge instead of saying there is no employment in the country.
During the same interview, Dr. Faros Yanangama, a lecturer and field coordinator in the same department, has echoed that there is unceasing demand for fish not only in the country but also at regional level.
Where most of our people, young people out there, do not realize that one doesn't need anybody else to employ them. It's not always that you look to be employed by somebody else. So our focus really is to target anyone out there in the world, in the countryside or wherever, who has an interest in livestock. They can venture into the production of fish. Fish production right now is on the ascendancy. The interest is on the ascendancy, meaning that we have more in the fish market asking other players to participate. And it's rife for anybody out there to venture into.
Alex Shimba reporting for Camnet TV, Lusaka.
In other news, government in partnership with Fountain of Hope Association continues to uplift the lives of the vulnerable, especially the street kids. In an interview with Camnet TV Thursday, Fountain of Hope Association Director Thompson Mwewa has revealed that amongst the measures being put in place in taking street kids for training under the Zambia National Service Program. Mr. Mwewa says this is the sure way of guaranteeing a better future for the youths.
The issue of street kids is something Zambia has been dealing with for a long time. Though the number of street kids, orphans and vulnerable children roaming the streets of Lusaka has increased rapidly, efforts being made to address such challenges by orphanages like Fountain of Hope cannot escape the eye. Since April 1996, when it was founded, Fountain of Hope has greatly contributed to transforming the lives of some street kids, orphans and vulnerable children. Fountain of Hope Director Thompson Mwewa says with the COVID-19, it is best for street kids to be given a home.
In the early days when we recorded some cases of COVID, that was in 2019. So the Ministry of Youth and Sport collaborated with ourselves, Fountain of Hope, to see how best we could take some kids off the street. As you may be aware, there were the public health guidelines that were given by the Ministry of Health as a measure of reducing the infections of COVID.
Mr. Mwewa has also disclosed that the association is offering training programs in partnership with government in order to improve the welfare of the children.
They had most of these taken to ZNS. As you may be aware, the government is running a program, a skills training program for street kids, and they're still in training. So most of these went. So there were, I think, 2 streams for boys and for girls.
As Zambia fights the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a need to take an exclusive approach, and in doing that, street kids must not be left behind. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
We'll take our second set of commercials. Coming next is international and sports news.
I was born in Wengwa in a grass-thatched house. I went to school barefoot and then to secondary school. University came, all of these on government bursary, on the sponsorship of the people of Zambia. Many people ask me questions. Why have you continued to seek public office? You've been arrested 15 times. This fight is not about Hakainde. It's about 18 million Zambians who want a better life. I'm standing for the presidency of this country because I know and I believe that this country is so rich and yet its people live in poverty. I am standing for that child to have an opportunity to go to school the way I did myself. It's time for change. Zambians have suffered enough. I'm Hakainde H. Lema. I invite you to take my hand. Together, we will build a better land for every Zambian.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
Kumbula International Airport, located just 15 kilometers from the Victoria Falls, is now one of the best and busiest airports that Zambia has. Vote for EDGAR LUNGU and the PF that have brought you change.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. You're still watching Camnet TV's main news. Now getting into our international item. Burkina Faso's President Roch Marc Christian Kabore on Wednesday sacked Defense Minister Sherif C and Security Minister Hossein Komper, who was replaced by Maxine Kone. In mid-June, the opposition called for the resignation of Prime Minister Christopher Debire on the Minister of Defense in light of the increasingly deadly jihadist violence.
On the night of June 4th to 5th, gunmen including 12 to 14-year-olds, according to authorities, attacked the northeastern village of Sohan, killing at least 132 people. The massacre, which caused a stir in the deadliest attack in Burkina Faso since the start of jihadist violence 6 years ago. Meanwhile, Algeria names new prime minister as economic worries persist.
2 ministers were sacked on Wednesday in Burkina Faso after deadly jihadist attacks led to protests. Burkina Faso's President Roch Marc Kabore on Wednesday sacked Defense Minister Sheriff C and Security Minister Ousseini Kampare, who was replaced by Maxime Kone. In mid-June, the opposition called for the resignation of Prime Minister Christian Kabire and the Minister of Defense in light of the increase in deadly jihadist violence. On the night of June 4 and 5, gunmen, including 12 to 14-year-olds, according to authorities, attacked the northeastern village of Sohan, killing at least 132 people. The massacre, which caused a stir, is the deadliest attack in Burkina Faso since the start of jihadist violence 6 years ago. President Kabore said via Twitter that the ministerial reshuffle that took place this June 30 is part of his desire to give a new life to his commitment to the major challenges of the nation. Since 2015, these attacks have killed approximately 1,500 people in Burkina Faso and forced nearly 1.5 million people to flee their homes.
A touch of compassion. In Douala, Cameroon's port city, Florence Joseph comforts one of her clients, a resident of La Reference retirement home. Facilities that look after seniors are rare in the Central African country, where family bonds are still strong. But some seniors, like 77-year-old Maria Bob, say they are unwanted by their own families. I have no one. I gave birth to 15 children. Among the 15 children, the children tell me I am a witch. The home was founded in 2017 and runs mostly on donations. At lunchtime, the residents gather in the dining area, not just to share a meal, but also for much-needed interaction. Some need support to get here. They are served Cameroon staple, ndolé and cassava.
Ça m'a fait tellement mal de voir que ces personnes âgées qui ont des enfants et que demain, ils ne parviennent pas à prendre soin d'eux comme il se doit. C'est là où me vient l'idée de mettre un centre sur pied pour apaiser la douleur de ces personnes âgées-là.
The pandemic has disrupted life at the facility. Outdoor activities have been cut and residents never get out of the gated compound.
Au début du Covid-19, ce que j'ai fait, il n'y avait plus de visites dans le centre, on ne rendait plus visite. Et le personnel, j'ai mobilisé le personnel sur place. Le personnel vivait là dans le centre.
Joseph says the demand for elderly care services is increasing.
Un centre comme ceci doit vraiment être soutenu par l'État, par les âmes de bonne volonté, puisque ce n'est pas facile de nos jours de trouver une jeune dame comme celle-ci prendre pour métier de s'occuper des personnes âgées.
Life expectancy in Cameroon has risen from 50 years in 2000 to 60 years in 2020. Ethiopia defended its unilateral ceasefire announcement and withdrawal of forces from Tigray as a move meant to allow the army focus on more important security threats. Addis Ababa on Monday said it was ending hostilities in Tigray and ordered army units to leave Mekele, the region's capital. But rebel forces said government troops and their Eritrean backers pulled out after sensing defeat. The subject matter, the reason why we left Tigray, is that we have another threat. We have another worry. And we have another threat to Ethiopia. The terrorist group TPLF is no longer a threat to us. Just because we have left the threshing floor doesn't mean we are not monitoring what will happen in Tigray. The border which leads to Sudan is closed. The road which leads to Amhara is closed. And the border with Afar is closed. Everything that goes into Tigray is from central Ethiopia. Grains, food items, humanitarian aid will pass, but other things will not. If they manage to get it passed, we'll pay the price and correct it. But there will be no tanks or rockets as before. In a statement on Monday, Ethiopia said the ceasefire call was to allow aid workers access and farmers time to grow food. But observers say Addis Ababa needed to free up military and financial resources as it prepares for the second filling of its mega dam, which Egypt and Sudan have opposed. Algeria's Islamist-leaning movement of Society for Peace Party said Thursday it was pulling out of talks aimed at forming a governing coalition with the FLN. A party spokesman told reporters that talks with President Abdelmadjid Tebboune had collapsed without a deal. The MSP took 65 seats in last month's elections. Unfortunately, what we have been offered will not allow us to have an impact on political and economic decisions as we promised to our elected officials. We have not even had the opportunity to discuss what departments we might be assigned. We have no opportunity. None even to have a discussion, a dialogue and an exchange. The National Liberation Front, the country's biggest party, won the most seats but fell far short of the 204 needed to secure a majority in the 407-seat parliament. On Wednesday, President Tebboune named Finance Minister Ayman Ben Abderrahman as Prime Minister. He replaces Abdelaziz Gerard, who resigned last week.
We now get into our sports story. The Zambia senior women football national team overcame a challenge from newly promoted Lusaka Province First Division 1 outfit Chilanga Stars in a practice match at Edwin Imboela Stadium. Bruce Mwape's Lesser stood toe-to-toe with the men's team, but they bet 2-0 in a thrilling encounter. The Copper Queens were in an uncompromising mood as they tore apart the team owed by the legendary Fred Mwila, who won many cups in the Zambian game and was in the stands at Edwin Imboela to witness the match. In another game, Prince MUMBA'S breast Augustine MULENGA'S goal in friendly win over City of Lusaka. Let's look at the highlights of the match. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. The opposition MNT says Zambia has a leadership vacuum as it declares its support for UPND. The Commonwealth implores Zambia to maintain its position as a beacon of peace in the region. President EDGAR LUNGU declares 2 days as non-working days in honor of KK. And in international news, 2 ministers sacked in Burkina Faso after deadly jihadist attacks. And in sports, Prince MUMBA'S and Augustine MULENGA'S go in friendly win over city of Lusaka. Before we go, here's our Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Hebrews 4 verse 16, and it reads, "Therefore let us approach the throne of grace with boldness, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us at the proper time." Thank you for joining us. My name is Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Pleasant viewing and continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel.